Hey guys, it's Kyle. So I'm doing my second review on this Walabot app, and the reason why is because my first video got quite a few hits, but there were some things I didn't cover that I didn't even think about. One, does it work on concrete? Two, does it work on tile? I already finished my tile job for our kitchen, but I was working on the other side of the wall. I was working on the drywall when I did that first demo. The second thing is the concrete. When we moved into this house, before I put down this wood floor, I came in and I found an outlet in the wall right here, and I got a concrete cutting blade, and in the concrete I cut a trench that's about 10 feet long and about 4 inches wide, because my living room is about 20 feet wide and I didn't want to run extension cords and stuff like that to a laptop in the middle of the room. So we ran conduit underground, backfilled with concrete, and put an outlet in the ground. So this is to show that the Walabot can see through, number one, my wood floor, and then number two, it can see down to the conduit, which is about 4 to 6 inches deep, depending on where it laid when I was backfilling it. I didn't go back to check to see if the conduit had moved, but it's about 4 to 6 inches deep because of how far down we cut when we did that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to calibrate this against my floor, and I'll readjust the camera here in a second, and then we'll see what the Walabot sees as far as looking at the electrical in the floor. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to calibrate this against concrete. So it's going to choose to calibrate, and just like we did on the wall, you're going to run it in circles to calibrate it, because it needs to know the thickness of whatever it's finding. Now, because I have a wood floor, this thinks I'm on drywall, I guess, due to the RF or the density, whatever. I'm going to choose to verify that it's concrete, and it wants to make sure. So if I choose images, what happens is not a whole lot. It doesn't find anything. If I choose pan, it says it's not available for concrete, obviously. However, if I choose expert mode, then what happens is I'm not seeing anything on the wood, but I know that there's conduit right here because I ran it. That's the only reason I know that this is here. But if I come over it, you'll see, if you turn up the intensity, that you can see the conduit in the floor. So if you move off the conduit, the red, I'm guessing it's a heat signature from the electricity, it goes away. But if I bring it back, it's there. If I move off of it again, it's back. And so I know that this works. So this is reading my Romex, basically, that is in electrical PVC conduit. And this goes about 10 feet. Turn it, and I just follow it along. It'll go all the way to where my outlet is. Again, it doesn't work for images because I'm guessing the density or the thickness is it's too far away, right? It's like 6 to 8 inches away. So the option for panning or the option for images isn't going to find that because it's so far away. It's not looking for stuff that far away. So let's go on to the tile and we'll see if it does the same thing. Okay, so we did our tile job and we still have to clean up. But what I have it set on concrete, and we're going to turn this all the way down just to see what it takes to read through it. So right now it's not reading anything clearly, but we know that there's electrical there. So we're going to turn it up a little bit to see what it would take for it to actually start picking up signal. And the images still doesn't work. for the concrete. I'm not exactly sure why. It could just be that, you know, it's too far away. Okay, so we know that there's an outlet here, right? So it's seeing one line, or there's a switch. It's seeing one line. This controls the light back behind me, and then this controls another light back behind me. And then as we come over it, you can see that it's seeing the 2 lines. These are lines that are feeding to and from, like, to this outlet, to the other things out there. But it is reading through there, so that's cool. As I get on top of this outlet, you know, obviously it's seeing stuff there. Nothing under it, really. Turn it back down a little bit. So I'm at 42% right now. So it doesn't see it right there, but it sees it up just a little bit higher. So I know, but I do know that there are 2 lines under there because I you know, made sure that everything was secure when I changed out these light switches. So it does work on tile in the concrete mode. It doesn't. I haven't switched it to wood mode. I'm not 100% sure. Let's try that out. Let's see. Drywall. We'll do a quick scan. Okay, so now we're in drywall mode, and I'm obviously getting a lot of interference or something on there. So we're going to go to images. So we're in drywall mode. So it thinks that my tile is just some sort of metal stud if I'm in drywall mode. It's just too thick for it to read. But if we go back to the concrete mode and we calibrate it against my marble countertops, because I don't want to get down on the floor again. Verify that we're looking at concrete. And we go to expert mode. So it looks like I have to be at about 50%. I'm assuming that's the signal, the RF signal being sent. That I have to be at about 50% before I see any. So this is the line that feeds from here to this outlet. And then on the other side of this wall, there's another light switch. That's what it's seeing here. So it does work on tile. It does work on concrete. It just doesn't necessarily have the same functionality, meaning on the drywall and the wood, you can use images. But on the concrete, you can't. You have to use the expert mode and increase the RF so that it can push that signal deeper to find whatever you're looking for. Yeah, so that's the second Walabot review. Some people ask me, does it work on ceilings? It does. I actually had to use this when I first moved into our house about 2 months ago, actually back in June. So we moved in back in June, and we noticed that our master bedroom, it was pretty warm during the day, even with the AC on and everything functioning like it's supposed to. And so we brought in a heat gun, an infrared detector, and we found out most of my ceiling was orange. I don't know if it's inadequate installation, but there was a big blue spot on the camera. And so we went in the attic and we found that there's a duct, you know, there's an AC duct. And when we found it, we followed it and it just went to the drywall. Like the duct was in with the box and it just went to the drywall. The builder 14 years ago, mind you, we just bought this house, but 14 years ago, this builder put in a duct and never cut the hole out of the drywall in the ceiling to put it into the bedroom. So for 14 years, this air conditioner has been blowing air into an attic that it's not accessible. It's just a crawl space basically in this house. So I used the Walabot and we found the edges of the duct and they showed up as metal, or as I think it says pipe or wire when it finds metal. And so we were able to trace where it found that border And then we just took a basic drywall saw and we cut the square out, and we were able to put a duct, vent cover on. So now we have 2 vents in our master bedroom and 1 return, and we have adequate airflow. Before that, it was pretty ridiculous. Now, I mean, we're in the US, so our standards compared to some other countries of what we find ridiculous is kind of ridiculous, right? Making sure that we have air conditioning in our house, where some countries don't have air conditioning at all, or the scale of our houses or things like that. But that's a whole nother topic. So it does work on ceilings, on the drywall and ceilings. It will find the duct, unless it's like suspended, away from the ceiling, right? It needs to be right on the drywall. Or maybe you could use expert mode and push the RF up to see, if it sees something else. It does work on concrete, on my wood floors that are about, 1/4 of an inch thick or so. And then the electrical, is like 6 to 8 inches under that. And it's, backfilled with concrete. So it read through the wood floor, through the backfill, and to the conduit that runs through the outlet in my floor. And it worked on the tile here. So that's my second Walabot review on those 3 subjects that it does work on those. And if you guys have any questions, put them below. I'll try to answer it, and I'll see you guys next time.